find that I'm actually doing it out of love. So if it's like you're doing it something willingly, that's not called sacrificing.
At the end of the day, it is really worthwhile with the journey that you carry out, to care for someone that you love.
Amina has been my best friend since childhood. We knew each other since we were like 12. She's like my sister, so the caregiving role is just natural. As you know, dementia, she has erratic sleeping habits. And me being in the entertainment line for a very long time, she's not a morning person, so I guess that's the biggest challenge I have.
我的孩子是单胚康妮妮，如果还没有走的时候是32岁，5月31号，差不多10点20分就去世了。他有去麦的那种特别学校，回来呢，他不喜欢吃的东西，他会把那个饭倒掉。如果出去外面吃呢，偶尔他也会丢水瓶。我们有这种孩子，真的是一路走来不容易。我也是照顾他，真的很辛苦。老实讲，我周围都没有人，只有我跟他2个。我一心一意就是想照顾妮妮，给她成长。没有想到说有一天我会失去她，我没有想到这个。我每次都是向好的方面想。
Baru-baru saya ambil dia dari hospital, sejak umur dia 6 bulan. Itu susah jaga dia sebab dia ada buat pembedahan kepala semua kan. 1 bulan tu nangis saja kita. Masa tu saya kesian tengok. Jadi saya cakap tak apa kita ambil. Tapi sekarang bukan kesian lah, sekarang sayang. Dan memang dah macam anak sendiri dah, 18 tahun. Jaga budak-budak macam ni, kita nak sabar. Kedua, dia nak anggap itu anak dia sendiri. Baru dia boleh jaga budak ni dengan betul.
Madam Rapia is actually my aunt from my father's side. Since young, she developed high fever, made her quite mentally challenged. She developed pneumonia, I think, a few years ago, and her health really deteriorated from then on. At the point of time when we brought her back, the doctor gave her 3 months to live. That was like 3 years ago. So now she's at her peak of her health, and I'm very happy with that. Yeah. It's quite difficult because I'm a home baker. I've got to make sure that I have enough orders for me to survive, to pay the bills, and also for my aunt's upkeep. But the good thing is that my family do help in contributing every month towards it. So I'm very grateful for them for doing that.
Rafael was first diagnosed with the rhabdomyosarcoma on his left forearm. That was in 2008. In 2016, where the second big episode of the cancer journey. The thing is, he's 8 years old, he's going to experience pain. So it takes a lot to encourage him.
For me, I don't really regard that as sacrifice because I find that I'm actually doing it out of love. So if it's like you're doing it something willingly, that's not called sacrificing. We find that ourselves are just like, parent consultant in that sense, because whenever there's new cases coming in, then there bound to be some kind of sharing session. So we do our best to cheer the patients up, and as well as to give a listening ear to the caregivers.
John is suffering from dementia about 10 years ago. So since then, I've been taking care of him. Only lately, it become very severe, and he's getting more and more violent. I was adopted by John 46 years ago, and then he's a very kind man, and many times he helped me. I'm a Chinese educated, and I couldn't speak English at all. And then when he adopted me, he teach me English. It was really something helped me a lot. I think as a caregiver, the challenge is when facing him, when he's in a bad mood, very difficult to control him. He will start becoming very, very violent. It's quite upsetting, to put it this way, especially in the public area. The only thing I can do is to be patient, I realized that I have to forgive him because it's not him that he want to do such thing. Sometimes I ask myself, is this worth it or not? I felt that, it's worth a while. I promised myself also that even my father passed on, I will continue as a caregiver journey with other caregivers. I would like to help them because it's a really very bumpy journey and very stressful.
Actually now my mom, she got a stroke lah, so quite severe. Almost every day I come to see her, to help her, and then we clean up, do some cleaning on her, and then do some exercise for her lah. So let her, at least she know that I'm here to see her every day. At least she won't feel so lonely, that she's always out there to fight this problem on her own, because she know I'm here. Most important, she did not give up lah. As you go on, maybe you take care of her, maybe or even him, you will feel that you have to do it, make yourself strong also lah. And then you're helping them, you're giving the moral support to them lah. What that we are within our control, within our limit, we can do, we just do.
8年前他是一个肾癌，然后他免不了一个肾，然后他动手术的时候，我就一直照顾他，煮给他吃。8年后他又复发到他的肺动2次手术，到最后这个过程就比较辛苦，要抱着他，扶着他坐轮椅，连他走路的时候脚一直要软。到他生病的时候2年，我们都没有出去过。他坐轮椅，他不要我推他，他怕我辛苦。牺牲是工作了，也不可以说什么牺牲啊，因为我老公哦，他是一个很好的老公。他以前得肾的时候，我照顾他了，他好了，我就去做工作了。他在家里，他是一个病人，他还帮我烫衣、抹地。晚上我回来，他煮给我吃，是我老公给我的力量。我老公是一个意志力很强的人，我才容易撑下去。我希望那些有病人的家属可以跟他们一起奋斗，然后不要抛弃他们，也不要放弃他们。
他们每个人来哦，都是说哦，我的腿很痛啊，走不动啊，抬不起来啊，我不要动啊，做了这运动之后也是很辛苦。这样子哦，我们就跟他讲哦，就问他有什么问题，就针对他那个问题，给他先做一些比较舒缓的工作，然后慢慢他们跟你有一个信心在建立起来的话哦，他们就每个星期都会过来这边跟你做运动，就因为每个人来了之后，他发现哦，就是好像好了一点。Mrs. Lau 跟我讲话，我很高兴，我在那边跟他听他讲的有的没的，我就来了，所以他们都成了我的 fans。他们不是来运动的，他是来看我的。就让我们2个就是退休之后也是，儿子没有做了之后，我们2个还是在这边做。我其实觉得是从我这边开始，就是我从自己开始，就是把我知道的教给他们，生活习惯是最重要的。
I've always had an interest in mental health and in the power of one's mind. And I feel that mental health has always been portrayed in a very negative light and even stigmatizing. However, I believe that there is more to it. There's more to a person with mental illness than what's been portrayed. And I was wondering whether is this something I could do about it. So that's the reason why I joined IMH 10 years ago. Over the years, I started marathon training. Then that's where I actually really felt that this is really mind over body. That's when I've also come to realize that exercise is extremely important in good mental health. For this project, MUM, Make You a Mask, it was mooted during May last year during the pandemic. We felt that it was beneficial to involve our slow stream rehab patients to sew masks. With this very successful project, the patients have actually given the masks that they've sewn to patients and caregivers and also been gifted as a gift of appreciation to nurses in the nursing forum and also the hospital volunteers. What motivates me is who I'm raising the money for, what I can actually do with the money I've raised for them, and also the people who believe in my cause and have actually donated money. I meet with a lot of patients and I work with a lot of them, and when I meet them and I learn from them that they have progressed well in the community, that makes me very happy. I would encourage other advocates to believe in their cause.
When I first started my journey into the mental health field, it was really with IMH, and I think I started volunteering there in 2014. By meeting the residents there, seeing their warmth, their generosity, working with the staff of the hospital and the volunteer managers, I think, listening to their stories, watching them work, hearing their, motivations for actually serving this population really inspired me, and it kind of motivated me to want to do more. The program that I'm most proud of is really the Matchsticks of IMH. Although we started as a kind of informal group of about 10, 12 of us, but we have grown since then, and now we are the largest youth volunteering unit at IMH, having worked with over 800 youth volunteers during our past near 7 years of conception. We were able to use our volunteering experience to create an entirely volunteer-led and conceptualized project that was able to drive conversations about mental health issues with secondary school students. So we constantly advocate for change within the mental health landscape.
那就从2017年头的那个农历新年，我记得第一次唱是唱新年歌，农历新年是在一些餐厅。那在吃饭之前，我们就会唱1个小时的歌，让那些会员一起唱、一起听、一起开心。影响蛮大的，就是这个疫情一来的话呢，我们就不能到餐厅去唱了，就只好暂停，那转到线上演唱。可是后来疫情更严重的时候，连线上都不行了，所以我们就只好暂停。不过他们在家里也听得挺开心的，就是总算还有一些在家里可以上网看我们唱歌所以如果能够唱的话，我们还是去唱。当然，我们除了唱歌之外，我们也希望更多人参与义工的行列，去帮助那些独居老人去做一些活动，带他们做一些活动。但是因为受到疫情的影响，可能很多活动都暂停了。但是去帮助别人的同时，自己也得到快乐，得到满足感。这种满足感是用言语难以表达的。
Ruby Group is a part of the volunteer group of Dover Park Hospice, and we are formed to allow volunteers and their pets to come together on a bi-monthly basis to administer pet-assisted therapy to the patients. Obviously, during COVID, due to safe distancing measures, volunteers cannot come to the hospice. So we devised what we call a televisit session. Because it is virtual, you have no sense of touch. So we had to be creative. We had to come up with different solutions to interact with the patients. We had virtual kisses, high fives. We also played games with the patients, showed videos of the pets, and even had the pets perform tricks on camera for the patients. Pet therapy is a very simple therapy. It involves the patient stroking the pets, and just by that simple stroking of pets, they actually aid relaxation, lowers anxiety, and generally improve the mood of the patient. As volunteers, we are there to help the patient's emotional and mental well-being. And we have to be very aware that the patient's conditions change from day to day, including their circumstances. I think it's very important for volunteers not to take this personally and to always remember that the patients themselves are facing challenges in terms of their physical well-being as well as their emotional well-being.
For BKSG, we usually visit and engage the residents of adult disability homes. That was before COVID. Now we have adapted to engaging with them via Zoom sessions. We also hold #Craft for Good sessions where we craft birthday cards or craft lanterns and then we send them over to the homes. So we really wanted to inspire acts of kindness through micro-volunteering and also support the special needs community so that we can be a more inclusive society. For me, is when I see volunteers come back very regularly to the homes and I see them form that kind of strong friendships with the residents.
Due to COVID, our volunteering has to be carried out online via Zoom. We have online activities like we play games with the residents. We also live stream from various places of attraction in Singapore and carry out like workouts with the residents over Zoom.
For our Craft for Good sessions, we used to gather like 20 or 30 people in a place to make all the birthday cards. But now, people do them at home and they send them over to us. This way we actually get hundreds of cards and colouring sheets each month from the volunteers.
It may be more difficult to volunteer now, but we should continue volunteering, especially now with the various social distancing measures. We are more separated from one another, and I believe that there are more people out there who requires help.
Zoom Parties is an initiative that we started in April of last year as a way to continue interacting with our special friends in IMH. We do a wide range of activities like we sing songs, we play games, We do arts and crafts. Sometimes we take them on virtual tours, and then we also invite performers to come and perform for them as well. Human Library is a different initiative that we did. It's sort of a webinar series for us to sort of reconnect as volunteers and to encourage our volunteers to stick to their cause of volunteering.
Human Library series actually builds a very vibrant community as well. We are not just confined within our volunteering sessions as well, but we take the time, to learn more about each other. The moment, the joy that you feel when the residents, they're actually quite happy, to see us, and they're quite excited, to be part of our parties. I think it's really very, very heartwarming. Yeah, I think there's really a lot of cause to be hopeful for what the future lies, but still being able to see our volunteers still coming in regularly, bringing the joy that they have, it is really very encouraging for me, and I hope that they do see that whatever they're doing, they are making a very huge difference, not just to the community and the beneficiary that they're benefiting directly, but as well as the nurses and the staff. I think they are all also very, very encouraged by your contributions.
This program is called No One Dies Alone at IMH. And as the name would suggest, long-time IMH volunteers who participate in this program would accompany terminally ill IMH patients at the end of their lives. Realizing that some of these IMH patients have no next of kin visiting them on any other day, IMH volunteers in this program decided to come up with a way on how to best serve this group of patients. They've already lost so much in their lives and now even have a terminal illness and are already at the end of their lives.
The rewarding part of this is we have the privilege to work with our special friends at their final end. We also have like a 1-year death anniversary memorial service to honor our special friends. Knowing that our special friends do not have any next of kin, so the volunteer will help to follow through all the way until the cremation, then as well as a sea burial.
When the patients are terminally ill and are already at the dying stage, IMH has kindly arranged for one volunteer from this group to be able to accompany and be by the side of these dying patients before they pass on.
The word of advice I would like to give the volunteer is to be resilient when facing obstacles, and then also having faith in what the volunteer works that they are doing, and do not give up.
So the NCIS Dream Makers is an initiative to help adult cancer patients fulfill their wishes in the later parts of their life. So we realized that there is a gap that we need to fill, as every year within NCIS, which is our cancer center, we see about 600 to 800 adult patients with advanced cancer. Very often some of the dreams may be very small, but it's very important to the patients as well as their families to be able to just fulfill this wish, and then it brings a lot of hope and encouragement to them. We hope that with this program and just granting this wish of theirs, it allows us to provide some care and concern for them beyond just clinical care. So of course, because this is a not-for-profit program, fundraising was a challenge. To all volunteers or anyone who really just want to help, I would say sometimes the journey may be a little bit challenging. So long as you persevere on, the reward that you will reap is actually bountiful. Just the gratitude, not really even the gratitude, maybe just like the fullness in your heart is more than enough. So if you persevere on, I think all will turn out well.
Stimulating activities for the frail, elderly or safe is a program that aims to promote the emotional well-being and functional recovery of patients in the acute care hospital through the meaningful activity engagement. At Kutiprat Hospital, we believe that health is a state of complete social, physical and mental well-being, not just the absence of disease. It has always been our dream for the patients to stay physically active and socially connected even when they are hospitalized. And that is the inspiration behind the SAFE program. Volunteers have been our key partners in helping the patient recover. Volunteering, not just giving you the opportunities to give something back to the community, but also giving you the opportunities to learn new skills or build up the existing knowledge or experience.
So over here at 414, we see residents, everyone with gifts, skills and talents, and everyone has the capacity to contribute. So our initiatives actually look at providing opportunities for residents to come together, get to know one another, form relationships, and hopefully through these relationships form a community to look out for one another. For example, some of our regular initiatives include the Food We Share initiative, where residents, including senior citizens, come together to cook for other residents and then they partake in a communal lunch. We also want to include other people who are also typically marginalized or at the margins.
疫情1年多了，现在我们才真正了解邻里关系的重要。所以有什么帮助的话，我们都可以尽量帮助了。来了这个社区。自从我加入了这个饲药师之后，很高兴呢。原来我还可以帮很多人，我还可以去送食物去哪里啦？人家需要什么，好，我们都可以到处送给那边，送给那边。
Volunteers, they contribute in different ways. So for example, Mr. Michael over there, he contributes like vegetables and fruits every month. Rachel, together with I think other volunteers and also residents, come together to cook for the during the Food We Share initiative. Just examples of how community care for one another.
We have about 17 blocks here in Yishun 71. So we decide to form this ground-up initiative to look after our neighbours and keep each other in the loop, especially now during the trying times with COVID-19 presence. And we really have to be the first responder because neighbours are the nearest available help that we can get. So we really need to be united as one. Loneliness for the residents, especially the senior citizens, is one of the factors which can affect their mental health. So we decide to have this happy program where they come down to exercise, play games with the other neighbours. So this bonding or newly made friendship really create happiness, cheerfulness in these senior citizens. So with this program, it creates a circle of friendship and they share stories, they share their past memories. So it's really a good bonding. There was this incident when one of our neighbor passed on, and we didn't know about it until a week later when one of our neighbor detected the foul smell. So we really felt very guilty conscious. So that's when we decided to have this form this initiative when we take care of our neighbors and keep a lookout.
The Neighbourhood Care Networks is very much our effort to engage the community, and activate them to become part of the solution of looking after each other. It's about having the trust that there are people out there looking out for one another. When we get people together and when there's a group who wants to do things together, there's a lot more interest, there's a lot more motivation. Yeah, so for the older members of community, isolation and segregation has had a huge impact. And there's a growing number of seniors who want to continue to live life independently. They choose to live on their own. So what is it that Touch as an organization can do, like for example in neighborhood care networks, to support them to exercise that choice to live independently, but still find the help they need when they need it? It's been an interesting journey, and I don't think we're anywhere near the end of it. I think it's during the COVID-19 pandemic that we see residents stepping up. It's kind of like, the fruits of our labor over the last couple of years, where people are more connected now and they see themselves in a better position to help one another. It is a joy that we can continue to look out for such individuals and communities. So to future nominators out there, I'd say continue to look out for these organizations, for these individuals who are aligned to this vision, so that they too will have their efforts recognized, and we can come together to build an effort that would see more activated individuals, more activated organizations to support this community enablement process.